thing?
Yeah, the Ouroboros.
Well, I was actually I have something I was working on, and I will share that in the group chat later. But it's not quite ready. You'll see it then. You'll see it.
But as I was saying, we are live now, so
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody
Of course.
asked me if I played the original Guild Wars. Yes, I have. Over 8,000 hours.
How is it?
I almost
How is Guild Wars 2 compared to the original Guild Wars? Because I've only played the original.
It's different. It's the same, but different.
I can imagine. There's one thing that I think I'm going to miss the most is the ancient Chinese aesthetic that the original had.
So you are specifically talking about the Factions expansion, which was
Well,
a
no, I
standalone
played
expansion
all of
in
them,
of
but
itself.
I played all of them, but I did like the Factions aesthetic a lot.
Yeah. No, the Factions was great. The only thing I did not like about it was Kaineng City because it is a shit show to navigate.
Yeah.
Getting
It
100%
took me
map
forever to figure
position
out
on
what
that,
stuff was.
that was fun.
I'm trying to think of the last MMO I really got into, as I really don't get into them.
After Toontown, Guild Wars was my first MMO.
But you know what? I won't really classify the original Guild Wars as a MMO because of its instanced design.
Yeah. Literally everything was an instance there. Like even the cities and the overworld was an instance.
It's due to that I won't classify it as your classic MMO. And the reason why I still like it to this day is because it wasn't gear based; it was skill based.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even you can even do some outworldly builds that can still break stuff. There is no such thing as a cookie cutter with Guild Wars.
Yeah, even in Guild Wars 2 now, look, you do have a sort of cookie cutter if you want to do raids. I mean, you have to focus on DPS, but once again, your gear is only as good. So even if it comes to PvP, your build and how you play that build is going to be the deciding factor. There is no gear game. Your legendary and ascended gear only gives you in total 2.5 to 5% total stat increase over your normal exotic gear. So grinding for that is purely just for the instance content like fractals, which are high-end in-game dungeons which require agony infusions due to a mental effect that causes you damage and when bosses attack you. Legendary gear you go because it looks fancy. That's the only reason you want that. There's no need to grind for gear to get better gear to grind and all that shit. Guild Wars is pretty much, as most of the community describe it, the end game is called Fashion Wars 2 because there is a literal metric fuck ton of skins to get.
I will have to give the original Guild Wars one thing, and that it is still the only game that ever made me care about PvP. I could never get into PvP with other games except for original Guild Wars.
Yeah, the skill-based gameplay definitely lends itself to that. And the same with the second one again as well. Like I said, it all comes down to purely for the fact that when you get down to it, you can go in at level 1, you're automatically level to a high level, light gear your starter shit, and you would automatically be geared and ready to go at high level. There is no need to unlock anything.
Do the guilds still operate like they kind of do in the original?
Guilds at a massive change. You now have more people you can add in. Your guild halls are massively instance designs. Yeah, different guild halls. It's an entirely different game because it takes place 250 years into the future after the events of Guild Wars 2, the original Guild Wars expansion Eye of the North.
You know, all I gotta say is y'all hijacked the stream from talking about comic books.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the new
It's
Guild Wars
something-
stream.
Yeah,
This happened
it's
once
the-
before
Guild
with
Wars.
Warhammer.
It's a little something that I'm passionate about. Okay, so it's something that I know a little bit more about than comics and shit.
well, I'm just saying.
So,
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
the after hours. Do things get a bit risque around here?
Dude, it's not like
Yeah, now we start talking about Guild Wars.
But final one on that subject.
Nowadays,
Guild Wars 2 is free to play. You can try the original. You can download it, try it. And even if you buy it, it's buy to play. There's no monthly subscription.
so basically, good thing I didn't waste my money purchasing it because I was looking at getting it like
Okay, so the core game, Guild Wars 2, the core game is free. But if you download the free-to-play version, you only have 2 character slots, only 2, and
Yeah, that's
your
more than I
account
need.
And your account. Oh no, dude, no, you don't get it.
yeah.
You have 9 classes, 5 races, 2 genders.
and notice how he had to make sure to point out 2 genders.
Nice, yeah.
Yes, I have to. So,
If only I had a Guild Wars game for every gender that exists.
What if I wanted to play the heliosexual? What, I can't be my preferred gender of a helicopter? Attack helicopter and all that?
Yeah.
God.
No, but literally, so there's the 2 character slots will not be enough. I can guarantee you this much. 2 character slots will not be enough.
And
I have like 12.
real quick, Gorgonite Emissary just said the funniest line that's kind of true. Isn't derailing the norm here? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I want to
I
say
don't know. With all those trains that pass by, I don't know.
I do like the Guild Wars boxes because they really do make a lot of use of room with their boxes for some great artwork.
Yeah, they have some great artists.
Good stuff.
I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name. I'm just going to put it in the Google chat.
Do it now. You. But the 0
Or something like that, but let's just put it this way.
Kataki.
Yeah, the guy and his father are fucking masters. They did every single bit of the concept work for Guild Wars 2, and it is phenomenal. Look, I can wax lyrical about the art, the music. Jeremy Soule, who did the soundtrack, he did a phenomenal job yet again.
Real quick.
Not on par with his Guild Wars 1 work.
But real quick, everyone will find this funny. God damn it, Gorgonite, on point again.
0 out of 10, no attack helicopter gender option.
Yes. God damn it. God.
You gotta have the Sonic gender in there. Remember when Sonic posted that meme?
It's like Sanic.
Ooh.
Speaking of memes and shit, did everybody see the latest Bowser Princess Peach mashup that came out?
Yes, I've been seeing that all over the place.
Where
It's really
Bowser
great.
and Mario got together.
What it is that I think now there's like a new Princess Crown mushroom thing, and so Bowser just took it and just became Bowsette. That's just going all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the furries are taking over
that's
again.
Panda Games now has another obsession to go over now. At first it was the Bowser dick. Now it's the Bowser vag.
I'm just
I feel like alcohol.
Rule 34.
Yes,
Not even once.
Rule 34 will exist. Let's just be honest. There's no escaping it. We accepted our fate when the internet became a thing. There's nothing that can be done. There's nothing that can be done.
Yes.
Except
We
murder.
could have done something. Why did we let Tumblr become a thing?
Because no one thought that nuking Tumblr would be effective. I don't know. Fuck. Don't look at me. If we knew that
Tumblr
nuking,
is the wasteland of the internet. Mad Max there.
you know, I can honestly say I think I am one of the only people on the planet that has never been to Tumblr, and just the horror stories that I have heard.
Consider yourself a
only
lucky,
been there
lucky
like a
man.
couple of times.
But that's what I was about to say. It's like I from the horror stories I've heard, I consider myself lucky. It's like the extent of my time on Reddit is back when the whole bit with the weird bit going around where I can't even describe it. It was it was obvious hoax, but it was the talking about the I can't even explain it. The weird, creepy message that popped up on the internet, and everyone was trying to figure out what it was. Be the first one to crack it. Everyone knew it was a hoax, but they wanted to figure out what the hoax was trying to do first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My whole thing with Tumblr is it's perfectly fine if you. It's like DeviantArt. If you find the normal web pages, they're fine. It's 100% fine. It is
But it is
unfortunately
so
when you
easy
delve,
to
when you
slip
start
into
doing
the
deep
tunnel.
dives. It's once you step into that hole that the horrible shit becomes apparent.
It is so easy.
Boy, I'm glad I've avoided Tumblr myself.
Yes.
So
be
hey,
thankful.
high five, Bob.
Right? We're the smart ones. We're like, nope.
It's
no,
true.
No.
Not today, Satan.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, oh God.
My goodness.
It's one of those. You know, I can handle some pretty wretched shit. I mean, come on, Cards Against Humanity. I think that's enough said. And I'm generally the one that pulls
And I
out.
kept telling y'all during that stream, you can play Cards Against Humanity online. There's lots of websites to do that.
We will.
There's even one that I used to go to a lot where you can give yourself like unlimited blank cards.
God, you don't. I let's just say I would have all. We would have my channel completely like striked into non-existence in one fucking stream. I'm just saying. We'd have to figure out a way to do that. Like, I would need my own personal website to be able to get away with the shit that I fucking like my preferred way of playing Cards Against Humanity, just because of the fact that oh God, I'm a horrible, horrible person, and I'm willing to admit this, and I have no problem with this. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. If you haven't played Cards Against Humanity, oh my God. Oh my God.
That game is amazing.
Cards Against Humanity has a way of bringing up your demons.
Right. Well, it's generally, the sad thing is like with me and my friends, it's generally a competition between me and Kuma to see who can one up the other one with the most fucked up, off the wall.
I loved how in last semester, some of my friends and me wanted to play Cards Against Humanity, but no one had the boxes, and not everyone had a device to go into the internet with. So what we did was that someone just bought a shit ton of index cards. We just made our own cards, and someone would just pull up like the black cards on their phone or with an app, and everyone was easily able to tell which cards were mine because my cards were always the worst ones, which means they were the best ones.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I have a card that's in not just my personal set, but in my friends, like pretty much every one of my friends' set, that are this basically, it pulls from Drawn Together, the episode where Toot wanted to get a baby, and so they got her an adopted Nicaraguan child or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's just say I won't say that card because I will have strikes my account immediately, and everyone will be like, "Ah."
Hey, who wants to hear something funny?
Real quick before you go there, it's first off, because chat DeviantArt equals Sonic's OC, and shopping as far as the SCART eye can see, or shipping's as far as the SCART eye could see. Mega Studios, at your friendly neighborhood ninja. Hey, finally, I made it to another meeting of the minds. And Gorgonite Emissary, if you don't play Cards Against Humanity in a way that would make Satan blush, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, you may continue. Sorry, I just wanted to get the chat.
No problem. I mean, first off, I would just like to say how the fuck I'm still not blocked by Kurt Busiek is beyond me. But secondly, here's what HP just reposted. I suspect it may be a positive thing that in the long term, that more people jumping on the let's monetize manufactured outrage as a path to fame and fortune in comics, the more competition for the grift, the sooner the suckers get fleeced and the whole thing will collapse. And he continues, and they'll have to rely on actually making appealing comics, which it should be. So dive in, grifters, easy money to be had, like shooting fish in a barrel. Gee, Mr. Busiek, that is the reason we are backing these comics, because the premise in and of themselves look promising, look fun, and oh yeah, we don't get talked down to by assholes like you.
Good God. Moments like this make me glad
that is all.
blocked by him. Makes me
I'm still not blocked by this Mason guy, which I'm surprised about, even though we had a bit of a disagreement about The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Also, did anybody who backed Blue Mamba, did you see your nice little email that you're available?
Yep, it was the 10th comic I got today.
Nice.
I read it last night. It is fucking good.
I tried telling you.
No. I backed it on Kickstarter. The Kickstarter got cancelled. I rebacked it on Indiegogo because I read the premise. I liked the story and I was all over it.
Oh,
Right.
definitely.
I didn't need convincing.
Oh, the point I'm making is I've read it. I read that comic like 2 months ago at this point.
Yeah, you got the advanced review copy. But I can see exactly why this thing would trigger people beyond belief. It hits all the boxes for everything. You've got some... No, I'm not even going to say it. Read it first. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. It's just too good.
What? No.
And you are teasing it, everyone.
Yes, and may I say, like, it does hit all the check boxes. It hits every one of the check boxes that they want hit. But the problem is it does it good. It doesn't do it in a way that leaves you like, what the hell did I just read?
I know, but in a good way. In a good way.
Oh yeah, like it does it right. Jim knew what the hell he was doing when he wrote that book, and that's what makes it so fucking good.
Yeah, I want to see this thing continue now. I want to see issue 2.
Like, and that's the sad thing. It's like we have so many fucking good books out there amongst the indies, man, but nobody wants to fucking, like, nobody knows about it, and all these fucking assholes on the other side are doing everything they can to prevent them from being talked about because they know.
They have to do everything they can to prevent them, or do everything they can to talk about it just all the time and giving it free publicity, like it did with Jim.
Oh, the point I'm making is the thing that they don't realize is the reason why we are talking about them, the reason why everyone the whole reason why everyone likes them is because they're actually good. I mean, come on. You have
that's the whole thing. And these guys they're used to being the only game in the city for who knows how long.
Yeah,
for years, decades. So now that they are facing actual competition, they are literally looking at their own demise in action. I made this analogy a few times. I see Marvel and DC and a few of the other guys like IDW like our own pay TV provider here in South Africa called MultiChoice. The reason I make the analogy, they had no competition for years, since the early 1980s, when they started up with just Mnet, which was a pay TV alternative to the state-owned South African Broadcasting Commission, SABC. So now, when we had the advent of cheaper broadband via fiber finally coming into the country around 2016, early 2016, thereabouts, and guys like Netflix and Hulu and all those guys, now they are faced with competition. But instead of innovating and dropping their prices, their current monthly subscription model for their premium package, which gives you everything sports, all of it, it's around 53 channels. It's actually quite shit because of all the repeats. But anyway, $1,000 a month. Now, instead of innovating, they have now approached government to regulate the competition.
But the problem is that's just going to further guarantee that they don't. Like, you could regulate the competition. That just means people are going to go, okay, fuck you twice now, and even more people's going to leave. Like,
Yeah.
No. Well, in the 2-year period of 2016 to 2018, in a country of around 4 million people, of which not everybody, well, not 4 million, 40 million. We got a fuck ton of people in the country. But anyway, MultiChoice took a subscriber knock on their premium package, which they also used to subsidize their smaller packages for people in lesser areas. They took a knock of 350,000 subscribers over a 2-year period.
oh,
And you can see it's really affecting them because they've increased the amount of ads they have. The thing that also makes them rather shit is they have the de facto monopoly on all sports broadcasts in the country, which is why the most people have DSTV. Now, the reason I make this analogy is I see, as we get a little bit closer, once the competition becomes even more prevalent, I can see that places like Marvel and DC start approaching the governments in their various states, the governors and shit, to start regulating Indiegogo campaigns and shit like that somehow. They'll probably try to do something like that.
but the problem is the laws here, I do believe, would prevent them from doing that. Like, I honestly,
Yeah, it'll fall under antitrust laws, I'm sure, but I'm saying they'll try. Why? Because they are fucking afraid.
but the thing
And-
is that it's going to be like basically like sharks, man. At that point, we'll smell blood in the water, and we'll know.
Yeah.
There is no beast more horrifying. There's nothing more horrifying than the shrill cry of a monopoly beast about to die.
That's what we're witnessing now. That's why all these attacks against the guys like Frank Cho, Scott Snyder, and those guys. It's all manufactured outrage from their side. These guys are literally, in my opinion, they are sitting there, gun to the head, metaphorically. Say this, or you are out of work and you are ostracized and you are blackballed and you will never draw a single drawing in the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, I can see that. Scott Snyder is such a normie that he tweeted about his kids earlier today.
Well, but at the same time, you're also pointing out another valid point of, Frank Cho, he's just now getting himself back into the industry. So he's even more like, he's kind of in like I said on I think it was on the war campaign where I pointed out, it's like, Frank Cho's just now getting back in. He's trying not to endanger his career. But the whole thing is they made a big stink about Frank Cho drawing sexy women, which has been Frank Cho's thing since he first popped up in the 90s. That's always been Frank Cho's thing.
Yep.
But with all these back in new Puritans we've got running around the other side, that is why we have the issue right now.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
We seriously need to get my hashtag #BeGonePuritan trending.
Yes, we need to. That would be so cool. But see, that's my thing. So you've now. I just never thought I'd see the day when the crazed Christian pastor becomes, the guy that's completely extremist would be from the other side who used to stand for this stuff. The so-called liberal side. What a time to be alive.
Are you sure you want to be alive?
Wait, hold up. Tim is Entertainment. Is that you, Tim?
Yeah, Timmons Entertainment here.
Yeah, well, if it's who I think it is, that's a old friend of mine. We're talking. I met him, 2005. Like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, yeah, dude, I've met that dude when we were both working at Walmart in Greeley, Colorado.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Walmart.
Old
They're
friends,
invading the
dude.
world.
Like,
Damn. Small world.
oh yeah, dude. Like, no, I just caught back up with him about 2-3 months ago, if even that, dude. Like, I had just really started streaming when I caught back up with him, and so it's like I haven't had a chance to talk to him since then because, quite frankly, as everyone here knows, we're all always busy working on the culture war.
In our own way. But see now,
Fighting the
other thing-
soy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the other thing I bring it up, the other thing I bring up the whole pro thing with like those guys is based on that post I shared the other day. I see that Archer himself will probably be the next guy to do a forced announcement. I'm literally putting a cup of coffee on that he's going to be the next guy.
Who is?
I'm giving it to Stanley Lau, Archer.
I don't know who that is. So
He only did one of the best variant covers of Catwoman ever for Batman 50.
thank you. I'm not gonna act like I know everybody.
No. But still, the man does such phenomenal work. He also did those amazing variant covers for Fantastic Four with the relaunch. His artwork is phenomenal, and that is why, and because he draws women looking good, and it's just nuts because you have these guys that all they want to do is draw. They just want to live out, do something they're passionate about, and now it is being made absolutely impossible for them to do it.
Hell yeah.
Well, think about it. Look at a lot of, like, out of all the SJW artists, I've only seen one take up, when he got called out on his shit. And I can't even remember the guy's name. I'm not going to act like I can because I just saw it, Michael Moody, I think it's Michael Moody went and tweeted about it. And that's how I went and looked the dude up. And I even said, you gained a lot of respect for me. But he had a facial expression of Peter Parker's be wrong, and he admitted it. He was like, "Man, I'm still working on faces. I'm trying to get better." And it's like, you know what? That's all we ask for. That's all we fucking ask for. You fucked up.
Yeah.
You admitted you're trying to get better.
And then move on.
Exactly.
See, all of this, so this whole outrage thing, it's just funny. I know we've hopped on this point quite a few times on the stream, numerous times. But I'd say this. I mean, the thing that I find funny is when you look at a lot of these books that they're putting out, especially the newer ones, the characters like Riri Williams, even Mags Versaggio's Kim and Kim. There's obvious good ideas there that's not acted upon because they don't want to improve them. Narrative choices and things that make no sense. I think that's probably the worst thing about their books. There's potential that's not acted on because they can't see the potential because of how their political lens and everything colors their world.
And that's the thing we keep trying to and we tried at early on with these guys.
Oh, we got a gem.
We got a gym. Oh, Jim. Yeah, give me a sec. I will send you a link real quick. Like you
All right.
We're about to have some
Awesome.
come on, Jim.
Wild blue mamba appears.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Yeah.
well, fucking do it that way. I won't even fucking bother to do a login. I should already be log in. I don't know why you're not fucking already had me logged in.
Yeah, so it's nuts, but I don't know. I think the turning point's coming soon. It's just the thing, as it always does when I'm talking about these things, is how bloody is the path going to look before we actually get to that point where everything turns out okay?
No, and that's
Well, I've already had like my breakdown on Twitter, just being constantly annoyed and frustrated. So now I'm doing a bit of a turn and try as I might to focus on more positive stuff, trying to do more positive things.
No, which is what I've been doing the whole time. But if I see great art, even from every single post that I see of an artist that's probably going to go somewhere or will probably be great, I just retweet it as much as I possibly can.
Real quick to explain to Tim, because he's a normie, he doesn't follow comics like any of us. Like, Jim Healis is the writer of Blue Mamba, which is one of the Indiegogos that was just it started being fulfilled today. Actually, just because I had to take a moment to remember. We have an army in here, so we have to take a moment to explain what's going on.
Oh well, that's fun. But yeah, so it's great that these things are happening now. I mean,
we're having
I actually want to do a review on it a little bit later.
Say that at the. What do you mean? I think I lost you there. Read on what a little bit later?
No, I want to do a review on it. Short form review like I normally do on my channel a little bit later.
Okay. Oh, you haven't heard? I finally got my basically got my Alterna comics in, so I'm going to start doing Bob Jones reviews. That's going to be fun.
Ooh, that's my big
boy. That's going to be topical.
And then you get cut off from PayPal.
Right. But all right, so Tim, Cranky is Matt Trend. He's the writer, creator of the McKinnon Chronicles. His Indiegogo is going to be coming out October 14th. Numbing has his project, the Duskquill. Did I say that right?
Yep, Duskquill.
All right. It's a tabletop game. Tank, you don't really have anything going right now, do you?
No, I actually do. I am in the process of writing a sci-fi fantasy novella.
All right.
Yep, and that's going pretty well. He talks to me a lot about it. It's pretty nice.
I talk to quite a few people a lot about it.
Yeah.
Because I need to bounce ideas off people because I've got an unused pile the size of a mountain of ideas that I originally concepted for the story, and it's like I want to use this, but it doesn't fit. Let's just run this behind to the point where everything's pretty much nailed down right now, and it's now just cracking on to get the last parts done. Then comes the fun parts: editing and release.
Oh yeah, and then you have Ninja, who is a artist who's basically he's going to be working on a Sporkman Ashcan, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be doing the art for the Sporkman Ashcan with Cody Fernandez from Jack Irons going to write it.
All right, so now you're completely caught up, and I forgot I told you about Blue Mamba, so yeah.
Speaking of, hey Jim,
here I am.
How's it?
I wouldn't be awake if it weren't for Halloween candy. Let's put it that
way.
Anyways, I would just want to give you a quick congratulations. That first comic, it's very, very good.
So you've read it?
I've read it last night. Yes.
Awesome. I'm so glad you like it.
No, when I read the premise originally on the Kickstarter, I was like, I want to see this reach fulfillment because it sounds so good. I didn't take the preview issue you gave to a few folks because I wanted to read it once it reaches reach fulfillment, and I was among the first 100 or 136 backers on Indiegogo when you relaunched. So
yeah,
I was all over that, and I'm happy it reached there because. So, quick question: are you going to, for people that did not get it, do you have any plans to put it on a place like, say, Comic Central or
So
Launching it somewhere.
right now, I still have a pre-order store open through BackerKit, and that's going on for what did how long has that got left? That's got another 27 days. So that is for people who missed the original campaign, still want it, and this will be like the second chance to get it. This one's not going to ship until November. So at the end, when the 27 days deadline hits, the digital stuff will go out, and then right after that, the physical books from the pre-order store will go out. So
but that for me, it's a highly recommended. It really is.
Thank you.
I like what you did with the story. The nuance there is just, it's too good. I think you hit every single outrage box that you could possibly hit, and I think that'll win you a lot of points.
Yes, that's the goal I was going for. That's the goal I was going for.
I can't say more. I can't say more without spoiling the story.
It's late. The digital issues have gone out. You can spoil a little bit if you want.
Nah, I want people to read this. So I just want them to go get it and read it for themselves. It's a highly recommended for me.
Yeah, you don't have to give too much spoilers. I'm waiting for my copies and my chips.
Yeah, so physical books, I was hoping to get them out before I go to New York Comic Con, but it looks like they're not going to make it. The slight delay in the transition between Indiegogo and BackerKit, and then giving people enough time to complete their BackerKit surveys just made it so that it just postponed it by that few days that put it right in the middle of New York Comic Con. So I got to wait until afterwards. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry they're not going to make it here or make it to you, that first week, but it's only a few days more.
Oh, that's all good.
But it's due to personal issues this side of the world that I took the digital copy only.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have some of the nice physical backing options like the alternate covers and everything, but for what I got, I'm very happy with.
Good. I'm glad you like it. I am taking copies with me to New York Comic Con. I'm not selling them, so it's not like anyone at New York Comic Con is getting their copies early or anything like that. But I'm taking them for professional networking.
Basically, it's kind of like a, if you will, a portfolio.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I'm holding times that pans out for you.
You never know who's going to be looking for movie rights,
That's actually
Yeah.
This is gonna be very good if it gets made into a movie.
Oh,
You know what? Better idea. HBO miniseries.
I see. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking HBO or Netflix miniseries.
HBO, not Netflix. Not Netflix.
I don't care where the money comes from, as long as I have creative control.
Yeah.
Then HBO will be your better bet because the whole Witcher saga with Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say that was a bad idea.
That's probably not going to go over too well, considering the subject matters of Witcher.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Well-
not very PC.
Wow. Let's put it this way, neither is Blue Mamba.
Yeah, no shit.
like, I'm still just like completely just right now.
I think Blue Mamba picks up PC and kicks her right in the face.
Yes, that's the best way to put it. That is the best way to fucking put it. Like, it hits every one of the check marks, but does it in a way where where they're like, but, 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 what?
But what?
What did I just read?
Yeah.
What did just happen?
I want to hate that protagonist, but I can't because she's a woman
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
lesbian.
and a lesbian and a minority.
Exactly.
Two things from the chat. One from Tennis Entertainment. Give them 3 pages, Jim. Make them thirst for more. And the other one from Garganite Emissary. What? None of you are excited seeing Terry Crews in the role of Siri?
Are you sure it's not Leslie Jones?
What's the difference?
Oh God, please no.
No,
No.
Let's not go there.
no.
Like, I'm sorry, but like everyone, like, let me be honest. The whole Leslie Jones bit that happened with Ghostbusters. All right, one, I didn't see a bit of racism. I heard a lot of criticism was being launched her way, but I didn't hear about, like, only people that was saying it was racism was their side, but nobody produced any receipts. And it's like,
The,
Quickly.
the only thing I have to comment on that remotely relates to racism is that I felt her character was a bit too much of a racist depiction of a black woman.
Yeah, it really was. Same with Ernie Hudson's character. He played a very stereotypical black man in that role, and it was just I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
well, it's one of those,
But
like,
at least I was able to like that guy.
I don't know.
At least I was able to like him.
I just look at it like this. Isn't it funny, once again, that if it's anyone who's going to pull out the stereotypes and things like that, it's never on this side. We generally try to remove stereotypes and just write characters. No.
What I'm wondering is, why didn't we do like the comic book version of Ghostbusters that had like all the they even had like a handicapped person in that one.
Because, see, that,
Oh, that was terrible.
like, like, dude, all I gotta say is, one, because the director of Ghostbusters, he was basically relying on two things: nostalgia to get people in the seats with the fact that it was Ghostbusters, and then social justice to get them the rest of the way there. That's literally that movie was. It was like, what? You don't like this movie? You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, okay, dude, one, and like, he's still years later, like, even Kevin Smith with Mallrats will sit there and be like, all right, I could have done better with Mallrats. I'll admit it. This dude's just like, you're just a sexist. You're just a misogynist. I don't know what you're talking about. You just can't handle strong female characters. I've seen stronger female characters in anime, manga, just about anything in video games. I've seen a stronger female character in video games that you like to sit there and say is so sexist. And so you just need to shut up and admit you wrote a dumpster fire and don't want to admit to it.
And I guess the next logical step with that whole thing was Black Panther, where people's reviews got taken off of websites if they were negative in any way.
Dude, I want to like Black Panther. I really do. I want to. It's got so much win, but then it's just got so much stupid at the same time.
I really just couldn't get over a lot of the dialogue and some characters' actions in that movie. Just never made sense.
Like, it had a lot of really good action. The fight scenes were well done. The CG was excellent. Like, they got the, Black Panther being more of a Wakanda nationalist was, a very on point character, or very on point for the character. But the problem is, like Killmonger was pretty much blame the white man for everything. And that's
I'm
what
still
Resident.
wondering how they managed to get away with a bunch of black guys acting like gorillas in front of a white guy and not be called racist.
That's actually a very you got a valid point there.
Because it was black empowerment, the movie. That's why.
So black people or gorillas equals empowerment.
No. The movie, the Black Panther, the movie was black empowerment, the movie. Okay, so you could pretty much do anything you wanted in that movie as long as it was black people.
So I can say black people are gorillas and it'll be empowering.
Yes, because black people said it's okay to do it in the movie.
Cool.
But that's the whole point. It's like there was only, if I remember in the comics, I mean, there was a gorilla tribe in Wakanda, but they were exiled. I mean, granted, I've never been a big Black Panther fan. Not that I didn't like the character. I just never read the comic. I was
Well, they
always
were in the movie too.
Yeah, they were. They were actually pretty integral to the plot.
But for me, I just can't get over like I said, they like to sit there and the whole bit about colonizer in that movie. It's like, motherfucker, I'm Irish and Scottish. My people got colonized before any of you motherfuckers.
What I want to know is why they got such a big chip on their shoulder with white people, and when white people did very little to the Africans in the majority of African history. It was mostly black on black violence. But hey, that doesn't exist.
Well, when you also think about how stupid that line is, they could have stopped it. They could have stopped the colonization of Africa, but they didn't.
But they decided not to. They had the technology.
How many times did they hold off countless invasions of the white man? What happened is some of them, literally, this is historically accurate, was like, you know what? Instead of fighting them off, we're just going to work with them, make money, and advance ourselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
they just traded their own people for guns, rum, and sugar.
And it's like, did anyone pay attention in history? And that's the thing that bothers me. It's like, no, if you're going to sit there and claim something, at least take the time to educate yourself enough to where you don't look like an idiot to everyone else who actually took the time to read history.
Black Hitler wasn't a compelling villain, and his origin story was contrived as hell. Yeah, pretty much Black Hitler.
He really was. And like, I'm sorry, the other thing that bothered me is like, okay, Killmonger destroyed all of that purple fruit. I don't remember the name of it.
The purple fruit. Yeah, I didn't see Black Panther.
It's like part of the ritual. It's like a fruit they have to eat to see the Panther spirit to inherit its power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that in the comic.
Well, actually, it is in the comic.
If it's canon, I just must have missed that part.
Yeah, because it's a whole ritual the Black Panther.
Yeah, but the whole point I'm making on that is the fact that they could have, when he was like, go ahead and just burn all that shit. It's like, wait a second. So you do realize at some point you will grow old and die. And if you're still king, your descendants, your whatever your chosen heir is, they're going to need that fruit in order to, ascend to the throne. Are you a goddamn retard?
No. So here's the deal with Killmonger. He didn't care about the mysticism behind the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
He was and look at where his background is. He's CIA, US government trained.
Right.
So the only reason why he took on the power of the Black Panther was to overthrow their government.
Yep.
I know that, but it just, if he's going
really, even if you were to ignore all of the stuff outside of the movie, you could definitely tell there was an agenda going on whenever it got to the car chase scene with Killmonger, whose identity is still concealed, but he's like shooting at the car, and the literal spear chucking bodyguard said that he was a primitive for using a gun. As it turns out, this primitive bested them in every encounter they've ever had, and also became the ruler of their country.
Killmonger had no interest in propagating the mystical kingship or mystical royalty of Wakanda. It was all about overthrowing the government and taking over. And if you kill the mysticism, then you kill the line of succession, and that gives you power to take over the government.
And the thing is, if I remember right, he also was going to do like the most logical thing any ruler could have ever had. He wanted to weaponize the vibranium and actually equip all of his soldiers with the Black Panther suit, because that shit is amazing.
He was sending out weapons to basically this is the part that really like boggles my mind, and he didn't really think this through. You know, sending out the vibranium weapons out to basically the various gangs that are throughout the country, or not country, but throughout the world and all the different countries and whatnot. So basically what you're saying is whatever edge you have, you're going to give to a bunch of people that at the drop of a dime, first sign of weakness, first chance they get, will use it against you.
No, all of these, everybody that he was going to give it to were the Wakandan war dogs. So they were all loyal to the crown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's been a while since I've seen the movie. I've only watched it like once or twice, and I was like, I just can't. There's
a lot of logical hurdles you have to go through to watch it.
And it helps if you understand the reasons why people overthrow countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you did write an entire comic book that, once again, hell of a lot better than this fucking junk.
No, I've been sitting here.
Plug this book.
When we were talking, when you guys were talking about, you know, the Ghostbusters thing and having diversity in a movie and stuff like that, it crossed my mind that one of the targets, or one of the characters that I haven't had Clarissa go up against yet in any of my scripts is somebody in a wheelchair.
The what?
I haven't had her go up against somebody in a wheelchair.
You need to do it now. You need to do it now, just for the.
I think I do. I think I need to have a rival assassin who's wheelchair bound. He is, he's a disgruntled veteran who was paralyzed in a disavowed black ops attack in Afghanistan, and now he's back in the United States, and he is, and she has to take him out. But he is just as good as she is.
And in a wheelchair, which makes it sting all that more.
And she just brutally kills him.
You have to see this thing that Tank just linked in the group chat.
Oh boy.
It is something else.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw
not
that.
on my usual level of cringe, but this is actually funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Anybody who didn't see this, I mean, if you know the two characters, I mean, come on. Yeah.
I did not pay that much attention. I honestly did not pay that much attention. The last movie I watched from Marvel is Captain America: Civil War. And since then, I've lost all interest. I'm literally on fatigue with these movies. I haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I haven't watched the new Ant-Man yet. I've not watched Infinity War.
I've watched them all, and it's only because going to the movies is about the only thing I do to get out of my house.
I haven't seen the new Ant-Man, and I haven't seen Infinity War. That's about it.
You know, I liked Infinity.
Oh, and I haven't watched Black Panther yet either.
Well, I liked Infinity War, and may I say, one of the most delicious things ever, and I laughed my fucking ass off, is when my parents got done watching the movie, and my dad's like, I didn't like it. I was like, oh my god, this is like, you could tell the people who read comic books versus the people who didn't. People who read comic books knew what was going to happen, and so we came out of the movie like, yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel. Like, we're ready for the next one, and I'm like, getting on, like, there's a lot of characters, and I'm just so sick and tired and pissed off at Marvel with, i.e., Captain Marvel and whatnot. But damn it, I still want to see the next Infinity War or the next Avengers because of the way they ended it, because they did end it right. But like, you could tell the normies, because all the normies were like, that motherfucker, they killed half the fucking people.
Yeah, the bad guy won. The bad guy mustn't win.
The
They
bad
do.
guy never wins.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the
like
whole
everyone
thing.
has said, that was Thanos' movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it pretty much was.
And like I said, it like, when the minute I heard my dad say, he was like, I didn't like it, la da 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 da, I couldn't help but immediately start laughing, because I was like,
And
what
it's-
did you expect?
And it's kind of interesting because I always thought of the Avenger movies as basically just extensions of the Iron Man movies, because Tony gets a lot of screen time and he gets a lot of development throughout those movies.
Well, here's why. He signed on at the right time, and Robert Downey Jr., as far as I remember, he's got the best contracts out of everybody.
Yeah.
At the same time, let's be honest, Iron Man.
It's all about the money, and he's got the best money, which is why he gets the most screen time.
I mean, even in Spider-Man Homecoming, Iron Man had a lot of screen time in there.
Also at the same time, Robert Downey Jr., there's a reason why he keeps doing Iron Man, dude. Iron Man saved his goddamn career.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was his bounce back.
After, like, I remember back in the day, ironically enough, Wizard making fun of him for all of his goddamn coke arrests and things like that, and now he, like, it almost makes me sad that Wizard had long since died before, the first
It
Iron
would have been a
Man.
case of who's laughing now?
Yeah. Yeah.
They would have been like, holy fucking shit, as many jokes as we, and at the same time, they'd have been like, they would have probably been making the same comment I was making. Like, I had no faith in Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. All right, I was like, he's a cokehead. He doesn't know the first thing about being a drunk. And that's what Tony Stark is. La da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then I walked out of the theater because you know I'm going to go see it like opening fucking weekend. I'm a fucking comic geek. And I walked out of the theater like, oh my fucking.
I think a lot of people felt the same way with Ben Affleck being Batman.
Yeah.
Not watch, can't comment.
Like,
Right.
I'm one of the few people who liked Ben Affleck's Batman. I think he did a good Frank.
I love him.
If Heath Ledger was still alive, I would have loved to see Heath Ledger's Joker with Batfleck, because I would imagine that Heath Ledger seeing Affleck being as bad off as he is as sort of a victory, like his point actually got across.
It would have been a violent Batman movie.
Ooh.
That Heath Ledger would have seen that he was successful in giving Affleck that one bad day.
I don't care what anyone says. I think
That would have been a great movie.
I think Ben Affleck does a great Frank Miller Batman, and that's the thing. I stand by it's the Frank Miller Batman that he does a good job of. He might not do a good regular Batman, but he nailed the Frank Miller version. Then again,
And now, like, Batfleck is apparently no longer a thing. It's like, well, there goes all interest I had with the DC Cinematic Universe, because I wanted more of that.
at the same
They keep
time,
shooting themselves in the foot.
from what I heard, they're getting rid of the Henry Cavill bit that everyone was saying, no, that's not happening. He's still with them.
Yeah, and Superman's gone now too.
Yep, now he's gone, and they're talking about replacing him with the Michael B. Jordan
Wait. Hold on a
Zod.
second. I just saw yesterday that Cavill said that all that stuff was rumor.
Really? I was
Yeah.
hearing from
But
multiple
then
sources.
why are the articles coming out stating that Henry Cavill is going to be the next Bond?
Well, he can. He can do both.
Yeah, he can do both. But the thing that I really like about just to switch to gears to Bond quickly, is it's been confirmed that the director of True Detective Season 1 is going to be directing.
Okay.
That'll be
And
interesting.
that was a good series. The first season was good, but when that guy left, I can't remember his name now. Season 2 was just all over the place.
Yeah.
What show is this?
True Detective.
I've not watched that show. I've heard good things about it, but well, good things for what it is. It's not my type of show, so I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sit there and say that people who like that type of show can't enjoy it. If that's what you liked, and the fact that that show was good, then that's a win-win for you.
Only the first season.
And that's sad. The fact that it was only the first season. Like it's a shame that. See, and that's the thing though. All the fucking good shows that people like, they either only get one season, or they completely screw it up. Like, I guess you could say, like you said, that they got somebody else, and it just screws it up. They don't care. They don't stick with what the initial vision or the things that made it good. They start worrying more about the money, and like how Yahtzee put it about the Modern Warfare series. Everything that made the first Modern Warfare so good, they were like, oh, everyone liked the whole part where the nuke went off, so let's do it 6 times.
Yeah. You take a powerful moment, which works once, and then you want to capture the magic again twice, and then 3 times, and ad nauseum.
Like, how you can't do that? If you want to create, instead of trying to capture that same powerful moment, create new powerful moments.
Speaking of Batman, has anyone else here been seeing the pictures of the new Joker?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Yeah, I think Joaquin
Looks like
Phoenix.
Murkish.
I'm sort of disappointed we won't be seeing more of Jared Leto Joker, because we've never seen a whole lot of him. So there's really no way to get an accurate read if he was going to be good or bad. He was just here and there every once in a while.
My personal feeling on that, I think he may have been a good Joker had he been given enough screen time.
Jared Leto?
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's-
Had they not done all the tattoos and made him look stupid if they'd just given him proper look?
No, I think for what they
No,
were going
yeah.
for, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm just going to put it out there. I think it would have been a great take on the Joker, because
what they were trying to do was taking the classic monster look, but adapting it to a modern cartel look, which would have been interesting, but they just weren't able to do anything with it.
precisely it was like they put it up so much in the trailers. Look at this Joker, and they made it seem like it was going to be such a massive part of the film, and then in the end it was like 15 minutes total screen time.
Well, they
Just about.
shot a lot more than what was shown up on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And-
totally
look at the
wasted
record.
opportunity.
And,
Well, because they recut the movie.
yeah, that's the part I was about to say was they got a company that basically does, if you remember right, trailers
Trailers, yeah.
to completely recut the
Cinescope.
movie. Like, it was supposed to be a somber, kind of serious, but with a few funny moments movie, and they took it from that to a pop culture,
Do
popcorn
an over the top action
Yeah,
drama
yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
So the result of that was they ended up with a lot of Jared Leto footage that got edited out, and I think that's where I
What
think
they,
from there, Jared Leto shot himself in the foot because he went on he had a tantrum
Pretty much.
about all of his scenes being cut, and then some rumors came out saying, okay, well, we're still going to use all the footage that we used, except we're going to use it in this other movie that's going to be the Harley Quinn movie. And he kept going on about being, getting cut out of the movie. And I think at that point they were just kind of like, well, fuck you.
Well, what they really should have done was just wait to use the Joker until the very last minute to have that. Oh, we're going to have another movie that's going to have Joker and Harley in it a lot more often, and just not have the Joker in the movie at all until then.
Well, and that's the other thing that the video I saw, because there are people on YouTube who do, like, have caught that know what they're talking about when it comes to this, and he pointed out it's like the biggest problem with the DCEU is the fact that they're constantly being reactive. Every time a video doesn't, like, every time a movie doesn't do good, like, okay, basically what they were originally trying to do is trying to have it be with the Green Lantern movie. They wanted it to be a fun romp and this, that, and the other. And what ended up happening is well, they went with a third movie villain in the first movie. Let's just be honest. They should have had Parallax be the last villain. They should have started out, first movie should have been the Manhunters. Second movie should have been Sinestro. Third movie should have been Parallax. And that should have gone into the ring being passed to Kyle Reiner. And in the second movie, they could have brought in Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart. All right?
But see, I think that fundamentally is where the disconnect is with DC and Marvel. Marvel, for the most part, are sticking true to their original character lore and everything they've established in the comics for as many years. DC Warner Brothers just look at this. Yeah, we don't like this. We're going to do this instead.
Yeah, they're trying to create their own thing, which works in some areas, but doesn't in the majority of the rest.
Well, the point I was making is like, and I honestly do think Ryan Reynolds did a fairly decent Hal Jordan. I would have preferred. I think he would have been a better Kyle Rayner, but he did do a fairly decent, Hal Jordan. But the whole thing is they could have started it there. Had they just had someone go first off, tell the producers or the company, WB, no. Fuck you for doing this right. You want to make money? We will make you money. But we will make you money as long as you let us make you money. If you are stepping on our toes, we can't do that. And that's what happened. They were so quick to, you know what I mean? They were so quick to just be like, oh, well, we know better. Because look at what Marvel's doing. If we can just mimic that and it can be fun and it can be this, yes. But the thing is Marvel had Kevin Feige. And had they just, literally had they started out with getting Jeff Johns as their head guy, or Jim Lee, or any of these guys that have worked for DC for fucking years in the actual comics, that know the lore to be their Kevin Feige. Let me don't get me wrong. Scott Snyder is a comic book geek. We can't deny that. We all know
Zack Snyder?
Yeah, Zack Snyder. Thank you.
Okay.
But Zack Snyder is a comic book geek. We all know this. We'd be lying if we said it if he wasn't. But the thing is he, instead of, he may be a comic book geek, but he's all about trying to make it. Basically, he's all trying to throw everything from all these different stories in, but these elements don't mix. He's throwing them all in at once, and instead of building up to them. And like Man of Steel, I personally liked Man of Steel. And like all the people that were talking bad about it, had he just stuck to his guns and been like, look, this is Superman's first outing. He's going to make his mistakes, and this will reflect how things are in the next movie and how he is in the next movie, and he will have.
Plus, General Zod really wasn't a person you could reason with.
No, and that was the whole point. You have been fighting somebody who's just as strong as he is, and when you have a situation like that, and the funny thing is the video I was watching, or one of the videos I watched, it's like basically got the first ever proper live action DBZ fight. I give that I can't remember the video, but man, that was actually a really good fucking joke. But the whole point is, like, had they stuck to their guns and stopped being reactive, stopped trying to please the fucking fans. Every time the fans had a criticism, they'd be like, no. You know, like, but they've been like, no, we're going to basically just stick to our guns. We're going to do what we want to do. If you give us a few movies, like enough to build the world, and that's the biggest problem. A lot of these movies were world-building movies, or at least could have been, had they stopped fucking reacting. But no, they had to react every fucking time. They had to be like, "Oh, you didn't like that? Well, we need to change the next movie. Oh, we didn't like that either. Wonder Woman. Oh, okay, you like that? Okay. Okay, we're gonna do
I
Justice League.
was with Wonder Woman.
I liked it, like, and like my only real complaint about that movie is I really don't really have one. I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, granted, I didn't watch it like I did like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel and shit like that, but that's just because of the fact that I'm not gonna lie, I've never been a big Wonder Woman fan. I like the character, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not a big Wonder Woman fan. Never have been. It's like the only reason why I know as much as I do about her is because of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
It's okay to be wrong.
Just as long as you admit it.
Wait, how am I wrong? Like,
You're wrong because you're not a Wonder Woman fan.
oh, okay. I was like,
How can you not be a fan of the First Lady of Comics?
Yeah.
But it's because when it comes to me, my favorite female superhero probably has been, always will be, like, Rogue. Always loved Rogue.
Yeah, so you like untouchable women.
I really do. I really fucking do. I'm not going to lie.
Anyways, guys, I've got to get going here. Life's calling, unfortunately, because it's morning and the world doesn't, unfortunately, work the way I wanted to today. So thanks, guys. Chat again at a later time. And Jim, once again, congratulations on getting it shipped.
Thank you very much.
Later, Tank.
Yeah, good one, Tank.
But let's see. Jubilee, always fucking loved Jubilee, man. Jubilee is, like, I think she's one of the more underrated characters, just because, like, everyone's all like, but all she does is fireworks. Yeah, she does fireworks that she can control the intensity of. She can literally bring down sentinels by herself. Think about it. A well-placed firework and a sentinel. Oh my god, that sentinel's in multiple pieces.
Yeah, but think of what Wonder Woman could do to a sentinel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman's technically a god anyway.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm not talking like the Superman faux god. No, she's even like before even before the movie, when they try to make it to where she's an actual god. No, she was created by Zeus.
Yeah.
Making her a literal god, because half the gods, that's how Zeus did it.
Yes.
He created them.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just like the Greek mythology stuff because I'm a sucker for mythologies.
oh, well, I follow the Greek pantheon, but doesn't mean I don't know. I just because I follow the Greek gods does not mean I am automatically have to like Wonder Woman. I think that's retarded.
It's okay.
Wait,
You can be
the
retarded.
mom's gonna
It's
come
okay.
after me. Oh, I'm not even mad. You're in rare form tonight. But
my only question is, we've had comic books with Greek gods, we've had comic books for Norse gods. When are we going to get a comic for Egyptian gods?
actually, I think there's that.
I think there
think-
is.
Yeah.
There is.
Like, I'm trying to.
Because if there isn't, there's a thing we could exploit.
Yeah, no, I think there already is. I think they've done that before. It's just, uh, I know they have to have done it. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but then again, I'm also tired as fuck. I didn't. I think it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. No, it's only 1.
2 here.
But at the same time, we're all still having fun. So,
Hmm.
but nah, I'm just saying that it's
Okay, apparently Hawkman.
yes,
Apparently.
yes, that I knew was something. I just couldn't think of it. It's like, but I mean,
There are several incarnations of Hawkman, but originally Hawkman was Carter Hall, an American archaeologist. The incarnation of the Egyptian prince Khufu. Hawkman is clearly inspired by the Egyptian god Horus, the falcon god.
Yeah.
Okay, so DC has Greek and Egyptian. Marvel just took Norse.
well, actually, I'm not sure. Doesn't DC have Norse gods as well? And I know Marvel has Greek gods too, because Hercules.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Hercules, that's Roman.
no, Hercules is Greek. It's just,
Heracles is Greek.
well, everyone knows his Roman name though, but even Hercules is often is always associated with Greece. Like no matter how, like even in like for instance the Disney movie, Greek, the old Kevin Sorbo show, Greece. I mean,
Even with freaking God of War.
which I've never gotten past. Like, and like I think the first one, the furthest one I got in the first God of War was like, I don't think
I definitely prefer the modern God of War 4, because as much as I like the story of God of War, I never liked the gameplay of the first few games.
and I think that's what it is. I've never liked that like hack and slash.
The only time I've ever enjoyed the button mashes are when you get to the in-game content and the button mashes are used for an emotional thing, because the God of War games definitely has a lot of emotional parts to it.
The quick time events.
There's the one where like whenever you do the mashing, it's always like rip something apart or do some kind of grandiose violent thing. But in every single game, there's always that one piece of gameplay where the mashing mechanic gets turned into an emotional thing. Like in the first game, the final boss is you defending the spirits of your family from yourself, and you use the button mashing to heal your family. And one of the thing in the handheld one, you use the button mash to separate yourself from the spirit of your daughter, so you can go off and save the world, which will prevent you from ever seeing her ever again. So it's only when you get to those situations, I like the button mashing. For the most part, I just don't like it at all.
No, I don't argue with you on that. The quick time events to me get like whoever thought quick time events is a good idea needs to rot in like every circle of hell there is. I mean every fucking circle.
Well, I'm not saying I like them because they were button mashes. I'm saying I like them because they took what was established about the button mashes and flipped them into something else.
Oh no,
which
no,
is
I
cool.
understand what you're saying. I'm saying I hated the quick time event. I hate quick time events in any game. Quick time events is the quickest way to kill any game.
I don't think God of War 4 has any quick time events except for a couple of scenes.
Yeah, well, like take for instance, the Tomb Raider reboot. Like the whole reason why I had like on PC, all right, I started playing through it was like, all right, got to a point, even with a controller, I couldn't get through the button mash bit because of the fact that, you know what I mean? It was the part where she's trying to get through, basically get away from the wolf.
Yeah.
And you got to do the quick time event to get away from the wolf and everything. Well, every time I'd get close to getting away from the wolf, I would hit the button. It would say I didn't hit the button right. I didn't time it right, or this, that, and the other. And it's like, how did I not fucking time it right? It's only one. I'm doing the same freaking buttons in a row. And
Did I black out and miss a part of the conversation here?
Probably.
I'm not sure.
More likely.
It seemed like we went from talking about characters in comic books to video games, like abruptly.
That's
It's
a stream's thing.
yeah,
Yeah, that happens a lot.
All right.
Goldfish.
I just want to make sure I wasn't missing any time again.
We just went from talking about mythology pantheons and comics into God of War.
and then that led to quick time events and how
Okay.
they are pure garbage in any game.
All right. So I would have been safe to fall asleep and been okay. Okay.
And
Yeah,
and then just
basically.
one thing I appreciate God of War for now is all these videos about how the game matured with it, and then you get all these counter videos like, guys, the story of God of War has always been this deep. Were you retarded or something?
Yes.
Funny as hell seeing those come to light.
But I mean, I take it everyone's getting tired and is ready for bed. I take it.
Oh no, I can go on for a little bit longer. I still got a couple of hours before my dad wakes up to take the internet away.
Well, no, Jim was talking about going to sleep. So I was,
Oh no, I was just falling asleep in your conversation about video games. That's all.
oh well, fuck you too, buddy.
No, I'm not interested.
Am I the only one that knows that whole spiel from South Park?
Yeah,
I know that. I know it.
Maybe.
Like I expected you to respond back with, "I'm not your buddy, guy."
Nope.
Nah.
Not entertaining it apparently.
Ah, it makes me sad.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not I'm not your buddy, guy.
He's not your guy, friend.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
Canadians aren't people.
Oh boy, I heard Josh was in here.
I know. Like you already know. The minute I said, "Well, fuck you, buddy," he would have been like, I'm not your buddy." Or yeah, I'm not your buddy, guy.
He's not your guy, buddy, friend.
I'm not your friend, buddy. Like that's what makes that whole scene so fucking hilarious. Is just the endless loop of it.
And the longer you go with it, the more I want to push you over the border.
Why? I need an adult. I need an adult. See, swear to God, my reference humor is lost on you folks.
Maybe I am too tired.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm seeing wow. I'm just getting like a long ass stream of tweets about the new Joker.
Oh.
Ah.
And I'm like, just gonna be talking about that for a long ass time.
Outraged people are going to be outraged.
It'll be a nightmare when it turns into someone saying the new It is better than Tim Curry.
I don't even think that's possible. Like
I might be on a weird timeline here because half of my timeline is filled with talks about Joker, and another thing just filled with Death Stranding and Kojima tweets. I'm not sure what's going on here.
You know, I'm actually looking forward Death Stranding. If it comes out for PC, as soon as I have the funds, I'm getting it. I'm so fucking getting it.
And then you'll be funding Kojima's Konami Tears mug.
Oh, dude, I will gladly fund that. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I think everyone who's a Metal Gear Solid fan.
Oh, here's a thing that involves comics on here. Reading is good, and you can quote me on that, Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still,
Mhm.
may I say that, like, Stan Lee doesn't know what's going on with comics and Marvel and everything, and like if he did, he'd be like, "What the fuck are you dumbasses doing with my fucking company? I handed you a fucking literal fucking gold, and
Maybe
you
20 years ago.
Maybe.
When he could read the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
That's her. Like, if he was fully there, what I'm saying, like,
Huh.
Yeah.
like he's old, he's earned it. Like, dementia's set in and things like that, and it's like, dude,
It's gonna be a sad day when he finally dies.
I'm surprised he hasn't, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to try to be edgelordy or mean. I'm actually being serious. I thought by now old age would have taken his ass.
He would have
Oh
gone.
boy.
He would have
Oh,
gone
boy.
with his wife. Not long after his wife.
Yeah, that's what
Alright.
I thought.
Yeah.
You'll have to catch a look at this number that I found.
Oh boy.
I posted it in the group chat.
Oh, that.
Oh, God damn it.
Am I one of the only people that found Batman Damned boring?
I haven't read it. Oh, thank you, Numbing.
I could barely make it through.
I haven't even been tried to read yet.
Yeah, me either. Like, and may I say real quick, Gorgonite Emissary, that it's hilarious. Canadians equal sentient snowmen with some having a
the
butchered French
accent.
accent. Yes, thank you.
And I am from Louisiana. I know a thing or two about butchered French accents.
I don't know. I think Cajun accents are pretty fucking cool, personally.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been living with them. I used to have one.
Like, well,
Like, still have a bit of a one.
well, okay. Let me phrase that. I find a chick with a Cajun accent and the ability to cook all that Cajun food hot. Oh my God, Cajun food! I don't care what anyone says.
You know what? Fair enough.
Like, just, bitch, get in the kitchen and then come to the bedroom. I'm immediately putting a baby in you, and yeah, we're this is a thing. This is a fucking thing.
I guess Bob likes his women speaking French and coded in jambalaya.
Oh,
obviously.
No. You have no idea that I would be like, I'm trying to get my weight down, like, from where I quit smoking and all the eating to help with the cravings. I'm trying to get my weight back down. I'm like at 165 again. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's only like 10, 15 pounds that I put back on, but that's still 10, 15 pounds that I'm trying to keep off, and I just gotten off finally. But no. I'd end up the biggest, fattest fatty there is, and I'd be happier than shit. People would be like, "What the fuck happened to you?" I found me a Cajun woman that knows how to cook. Excuse me while I go wash out my cankles. I wouldn't even feel bad about it.
So basically, get you a girl that can cook you some hush puppies while hushing your puppy.
Hey man, I'd be lying if I said that. I believe in the old expression: the quickest quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah.
No. Quickest way to a man's heart through his penis.
Yeah.
Overrated, and let's just be honest. In today's day and age, that's more like the quickest way to a man's wallet, and
Yeah.
leaving him destitute.
Harvey Weinstein.
It pretty much. He brought that on himself, though. Let's just be honest. And I'm just like, all right, I understand you look kind of like you make me look like a stud, you make me look like a Chad, and this, that, and the other. But god damn, dude, like, really, it's like nobody told you that just paying a hooker was, or doing something like a contract marriage was, a better idea than, being pretty much a scuzzball.
Well, he was also a male feminist, so of course he'd rape women.
Well, yeah, you got a point
There
there.
is no difference between a male feminist and a rapist.
Oh, it's like, one at this point, if I was any like straight up, I'm sorry, if any guy that says he's a male feminist at this point is pretty much asking for it. So, for the follow up question of when does the
It's
allegation?
pretty much admittance.
Yeah, it's like, so when is your Me Too moment?
Well, late night comics will be having one soon.
Oh,
Right? And I'm just like, and what's funny is like the far left ideologue friend that I always mention, like he's a male feminist, and I'm like, dude, no, you don't want to be saying that anymore. You don't want to be saying that
No.
anymore.
you don't want to call yourself an ally right about this time.
Nope, because they're
Back away from that as far as you can.
and like as quick as you can. Like, don't even worry about the backing away slowly. Just run.
All
Run
ass.
Yeah, right. Like run like your ass is on fucking fire because it might as well be right now, and hope to God no woman goes, well, he did seem a little pushy. Nope. You get away while you still can. But then again, I'm not gonna.
Apparently, Kurt Busiek is supporting Layman.
Oh, like
Oh,
that.
yeah, he's a piece of shit. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's like so.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. We already knew that he supports fucking. The way he supports people is not at all based on standards. It's based on social justice.
Thanks, Umbrella Guy, for showing me that.
Yeah, well, the way I look at that is Kurt Busiek is pretty much just doing what most is doing the spoiled child. To be honest, because he knows he's already been pretty much, if you will. They all know they're on their way out, and they know they're not getting their way anymore. They can't get their way anymore because at this point, sooner or later, and I believe sooner rather than later, no matter what Jim says, and Jim presents a lot of valid points. I'm not gonna lie, he presented them earlier on my stream. But basically, the higher ups in these companies are gonna be like, why are we losing money? And why are we losing money to these crowd funds?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have been basically playing loose with our fucking money this whole time. And now we have been being shitty to customers and caused a movement to grow around it. Okay. No, but they probably intend to want Jim's maybe right on this. They may give them a chance to get their act together to save face. But I don't think it'll help.
Probably won't, because they're out there on a crusade. Crusaders don't typically have self-reflection.
Well, no, I'm saying the higher ups, the board members and shit like that is what I'm saying. Would try to give the artists and what all these people that did cause problems a chance to reflect and try to save face and fix the problem. Try. Not saying it'd work, but they'd try.
A lot of people like to blame stuff on corporate for not capitalizing on important things and just pumping out the same stuff over and over again. But there's one thing people have to understand is that corporate will pump out stuff that makes them money. If you want them to pump out stuff that you want, you have to show them that what you want is profitable.
Oh, and
You have to show that there's people out there that want what you're peddling, and they'll get on board with it.
well, that's the thing, though. Nobody wants what these jackasses are peddling. At this point, they're probably a lot of people are like, "Go away, please, 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 go away, and never come back."
Yeah.
And that's, and they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. Let's just be honest, they don't. And that's the problem. They're constantly trying to be like, "Oh well." Like for the past like pretty much 6-7 months, what they've been doing is they've been like, well, it's been this or it's been that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've been making every excuse they could because they don't want to admit that maybe, just fucking maybe,
That they're the problem.
And once they finally do get past that, or once the higher ups finally do realize, oh shit, it has been these people, we got to get rid of them, and hopefully the fans will come back. I think by that point it may end up being too late. And they may,
I don't think so.
you don't think so?
No, and I say that because people are fans of the properties. People are fans of the IP.
Oh yeah, you definitely have some of those that will buy literally everything just because of the label.
Yes, and you have and the flip side of that, you have people that are that follow artists, follow writers, and I think those are fewer and further between than the people who will buy Iron Man, who will buy Captain America, who will buy Batman, because they just want a story with that character in it. They don't care who writes it. They don't care who draws it.
They just want it.
They just want the story with that character.
Yeah.
So, and those are the people that are still buying comic books today. Will continue to buy comic books through whatever comes in the next few years, and will be the people that will support a rebuild of whatever companies have those IPs in the future. The comic book fan that you and I talk about most of the time are the ones that will typically follow an artist or a writer, or are more involved in the lore, in the history of a character, in the history of a publisher. People that normies just don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. And this has been said on other streams as well. If you want to be successful in this industry, you need the normies. If you don't have them, then you're not going anywhere. Because think of it this way. And I was just thinking about this, in the last few minutes. Let's look at EVS's Cyberfrog. Okay. Yeah. He did over $500,000. Okay. But he did that with fewer units at a higher dollar amount. Okay. Your normie comic book purchaser is not going to pay that higher dollar amount.
You do have a point there.
Okay. And your normie comic book customer is going to look at $3 to $5 to being okay. All right. When you tip over that $5 mark is when you start losing some of the normies. Okay. And granted, the sales numbers for the big two publishers are not what they were 20 years ago, but they still crank out 10 to 20 to 30,000 copies selling at $3 to $5. And they do that consistently. And now that and that may be consistency over you may have a book that gets canceled after 6 issues, but they've already got the next book to take its place that will get distributed at the 20,000 units range. So if Cyberfrog were a $5 book, you get the normies in. Okay. So yeah, you know what? You've got executives at DC and Marvel are looking at what's being done with the Comicsgate books, the sales. They're looking at dollar figures and going, wow, they made a lot of money. And then they're looking at units and going, yeah, but they didn't sell that much. So,
but they also might look at it and go, they sold less units at a higher price, and go, wait a second, they sold and really wonder, all right, they may have sold, only X amount of books, but they paid way more than what, anyone's willing to pay for our books, and go, what are they doing that we are not? It goes.
What they're doing is they're reaching out to the diehard comic fan. Okay, they're reaching out to the people who follow an artist or a writer, or
Oh yeah, no. You and I understand this. I'm saying the point that I'm making is either way, it still leads to them looking at their crews, going, "What are y'all doing?" That okay, should they? What are they doing that y'all are not? Why can't we get money like that with Because think about it, less units, more money.
Okay, I'll tell you why they can't. I'll tell you why they're not even considering the dollar figure. Okay. Marvel and DC can't put a book on the shelf for $25. Cannot. Okay. Because the moment they do, they lose all the normies. Okay. None of the normies are going to buy that book. None of the LCSs are going to are going to buy a book at $12.50 to put it on the shelf at $25. They're not. So that's why the big Marvel and DC are not going to even entertain selling a book at that price point. Okay. They will always look at it as, what can we sell to the stores? The stores are willing to pay $1.50 for a book and throw it up on the shelf for $3 to $5. Okay. It doesn't matter at that point if we sell 10,000 or 50,000, because as long as we can get the stores to constantly order our stuff, we're still going to make our money. If it's higher volume with a lower dollar amount per book, we're still making our money. Okay. When they look at what's on our side, we'll look at Blue Mamba, for example. I made $16,000. Okay.
Congratulations once again.
Thanks. But that was $16,000 with about 500 people that bought the book. Okay. So a publisher is going to look at that and go, okay, so you have 500 people who bought your book. That's not great. That's nothing in the eyes of a big two publishing house. 500 doesn't even make it to the printer.
Oh, and I understand.
So 9,000, 10,000 is going to get canceled at issue 1. Okay. So if just hypothesizing here, if Cyberfrog had gone to solicits and only pulled 9,000 in solicits, it never would have made it to print. It never would have made it to print because at that point, it doesn't matter if the book is $3 or $15. If you only got 9,000 people to buy it, it's not going to make it to print.
I'm not denying that. I don't know. I'm kind of being pessimistic about it. I will say that.
Well, I'm looking at it from
a business standpoint.
Okay,
I'm not denying that.
And so in that, I'm looking at that saying, okay, well, what are these guys doing over here that's making them so much money? Well, they're going after a specific market of people that have a lot of disposable income. Okay. They know that crowdfunded comics typically sell between $15 and $25. All right. And they do well because they reach out to people who have that disposable income. All right. So I know that I can only, if I'm going to reach out to this audience that has high disposable income, that likes crowdfunding new projects and are comic book fans, I'm reaching kind of a limited audience. Okay. So I can make a good amount of money because they're willing to pay for it. And I don't have to have a lot of sales because I'm charging more money. If Cyberfrog, and I'm using as an example, it could be Jawbreakers, it could be Blue Mamba, it could be Stardust, it could be whatever. Okay. If it had gone to crowdfunding at $5 a copy and sold 9,000 copies, it never would have made it to print, even as a crowdfunding, because there's not enough money there. Okay. So as a major publisher, if I'm looking at a comic book or magazine or whatever, and I'm looking to do a print run with this, my print run has to be 20 to 30,000 for me to be able to justify the cost of printing it. And that means I need to have solicits of at least 15 to 20,000 for me to make the money that I just spent on printing that book.
But that's the whole thing. And it's something that I got thinking about. Like, the big thing is, though, like,
hey, I just got activity from John Della Rose here.
Alright.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to bail tonight. I'll try to come back soon. Unforeseen circumstances tonight.
It happens. I mean,
Yeah.
It was one of those. We kind of figured was something happened. He wasn't able to make it, so we made do with. We adapted. We overcame. I mean, at this point, I'm just like, there's no point in worrying about it. Spork's probably already, well, there's no probably. We all know Spork's in bed. And at this point, I highly doubt anyone. We have 4 viewers, and I know I'm not. Well,
It's
I don't
probably
know.
us.
Yeah, well, like I was about to say. I mean, like, because even though I'm only watching the chat, I have the chat popped out. I don't know if they count that.
Yeah,
as
it
a
does.
viewer. Oh, it does.
Yeah, it does. It's just us talking at this point.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
well then I guess that means it's just time to go ahead and call it a night.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
All right.
Like,
just us rambling away.
Yep.
So let me just say, I know that quite often I sound pessimistic in some of the views I show, and it's only because when you're looking at it from a business perspective, that's what you get. You get a lot of pessimism, especially on new stuff.
Oh yeah.
well, I'm not denying that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that it's one of those. It goes back into. I guess you could say, like I was explaining to fucking Chuck, I was like, even you have to always go into battle portraying with in your mind you have already won. You may lose. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds funny, referring to this as a battle, but it's still when you go into it with the thought that, well, it's business, it's this, that, and the other, and that they're not paying attention. Of course, they're not. They're not going to pay attention at that point. You have to convey and especially in business, the biggest thing that gets people to side with you is not necessarily numbers. It's the fact that you are confident. A businessman, a good businessman, can sell you complete and utter bullshit straight to your face. You know it's complete and utter bullshit, but because of his confidence, you're like, maybe he's not. Maybe he might
And
not
this is-
really be.
And
be
this
able
is
to
how
do
we
it.
have SJWs in comics right now.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
So let me leave you with this one last thing. If I'm a big two publisher and I look at what the Comicsgate guys have done with crowdfunding and independent publishing, and I want a piece of it, I leave them right where they're at. Okay, I go to them, I buy their properties, I give them access to my infrastructure, and I leave them alone, because then I make all the profit. They get their books out, and they're still making a lot of money on low sales figures.
Oh yeah, and that's
But that's not how the big two publishers work. So we're looking at two different models, and the guys in Comicsgate already know this. They already know that they've already talked about this, that crowdfunding is not sustainable. They have to get they have to get the price point of the book down, and they have to eliminate the shipping. That's the only way that these books are going to have longevity under their current in their current state.
no doubt. And we were actually talking about that in the stream before this. It's just a matter of the stream you were on earlier of mine, and on a Spork stream when we were on it earlier. And it's just one of those. We don't have the answers just yet, and we're trying to find the answers. And the biggest thing is, sometimes finding the answers, just I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I had them. But at the same time, that's where you gotta have that one businessman that you think's full of shit, and that shows you, yeah, he may have been full of shit, but he actually had some good ideas.
Yeah.
I'll say is we can complain about this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, one of the most productive things we can try and do is keep promoting these independent comic creators that we do like, and hopefully maybe an independent publisher can end up becoming big enough to be able to do some stuff on its own, like Marvel and DC and IDW and all them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, come on, Alternative's having its best month ever.
Oh yeah.
And I think that, and here's my pessimism again. Good on them for having a great month, but I don't think it's going to last.
They don't have this, and I'm actually right there with you on this, because they don't.
It's activism buying. It's activism buying. That's what happened.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
Well, it's not just that. They had more titles. Like, I mean, granted, the problem is, I pretty much, I may not have bought all their books,
Hmm.
but that's because one didn't have the money to buy it. If I had the money, you already know, I would have bought those books and been like, yeah, buddy. But the thing is, they don't. If they had more titles and ongoing series, i.e.,
Hmm.
like X-Men, Batman, things like that, where it's constant every month.
Hmm.
There's going to be a new issue. Then it would be the start of something great. And do I hope that Peter can start doing something like that? Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I hope he's smart
absolutely.
about his finances and takes the boost that he gets to here to be able to turn his Alterna from the current model to something that is a more standard uh,
Hmm.
company, if you will, style model. But at the same time, it is still that whole. It he still needed that initial bump, if you will, to get him there.
Yeah, yeah. And he'll gain some customers out of this. No doubt.
Like everyone's pretty in the community is pretty much like, yeah, fuck the big two. We'll if we'll keep buying Alterna, but like I said, they just don't have the books yet. And if all goes well, they will after this.
Yep.
Like, but all right, let's go ahead and call it a night. Granted, I'm sitting here playing fucking Creativerse, which
Still playing Realm Grinder.
yeah. Wait, I
Yeah.
think your laptop should be able to run this. Hit this game. It's free to play. Like you won't be able to do half the shit I can, but I can still add you to my server and like we can get down. I mean, or well, I call it server. It's more like the way this is set up on this game is worlds,
Mhm.
but it's all online anyway. So like even if I'm not online, you would still be able to join, like the world and whatnot, like my buddy Kuma does. I just don't have anyone other than me, and Kuma doesn't hop on anymore for some odd reason, and I'm not giving fucking certain people access to it. Like Doug would get access to it. I don't mind giving you access to it, but like there are certain people that I'd just be like, nope, fuck you, you're not getting access.
Sure.
All right, guys. I'm out.
Night,
All right.
Jim. You have a
All
good
right,
night.
You guys
have a
have a
good
good
one.
night. Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you later.
Yes.
All
Oh, we
right.
did have one viewer, Gorgonite Emissary.
All right. Good night, guys.
Night,
night.
dude. But all right, I guess Ninja, you there? Or are you dealing with kids?
Probably doing with kids because he's been on mute for a very long time.
And he
Yep.
might actually have fallen the fuck asleep. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Maybe. Who knows?
But all right,
Doesn't seem like Ninja to fall asleep because I don't think I've ever heard him tired before. He's like a
Right.
big old ball of energy.
right.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, hey, everybody has their moment where they get tired. Hell, the only thing keeping me going is, quite frankly, as bad as it sounds. But like I said, I have been constantly working on my. I'm the base builder in like Minecraft and games like it.
Uh-huh.
I'm the guy that likes to build a lot of bases and. Sorry, Gorgonite. I'm sorry. Like, we all thought you left. It's not wasn't just me.
we wouldn't have blamed you.
Right.
Every time I try to look at chat participants, only Bob showed up. Just
Wow.
weird.
But the like even in Minecraft and stuff like that, I'm the base builder. I'm the guy that will build like big old massive bases and
Great. Just what I needed to see. The freaking another picture of the live action Teen Titans.
I don't think
Nobody
anybody.
needs that. Nobody needs to see that anymore.
All right.
I
And
wish that. I wish I forgot about that.
oh, you can't forget about it because every time we do forget about it, you're very quickly, very promptly reminded, hey, this was a fucking thing that somebody thought was a good fucking idea. And we're gonna keep reminding you that we thought it was a good fucking idea because of the fact that, we hate our fans.
I can understand why Cyborg isn't in there, but one thing I'm questioning is why Starfire isn't there. I've yet to ever see Starfire.
You have. That's the sad thing.
Nope. There's no Starfire in the Teen Titans live action.
Yeah, there's. It's so sad.
But for whatever reason, there's just some random prostitute in there, which I have no idea what she's about.
I should have seen that one coming. I really
Yeah.
should have.
Yeah.
Like, and what makes me mad is I've seen, like, as bad as it sounds, I've seen cosplayers that are like, pay extra to my Patreon, you can get the loads, that have done a better job at the making, doing Starfire than the fucking actress that they got to do Starfire.
Like I know Starfire's outfit has always been skimpy, but it was still alien. You still tell it wasn't of this earth. But yet, when I looked at that, it's like, okay, that looks like a regular dress, so now she just looks like a prostitute.
Well, they're trying to pitch it as, oh, well, she was going out to a disco. No, the fuck she wasn't. I think,
Disco, really?
yeah.
You mean one of the many, many things she doesn't understand what it's about?
Yeah, it's like I said, I stand by. They fucked it up. They didn't want to admit they fucked it up. So they were like, oh well, she was going out to the club. Yeah, that's what it is. She was going out to the club. Really? Did
The club on 8 Mile in Detroit.
right? It's like, come the fuck on. Like, it doesn't take.
Yeah, she's going to a club called The Corner.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, you know, if you didn't want to make the fucking series, you could have just said, hey, we're not interested. We don't need the money or whatever. It's like, but instead they're like, oh, we'll make it. Fuck it. Fuck the fans. We'll take your money. We don't care how badly we piss them off, though they're already about ready to fucking go
And there are so
straight.
many arbitrary design choices, like Beast Boy being Asian with a bad Jacksepticeye dye.
Yeah.
And then there's Raven, instead of looking like a sorceress from another plane of existence, she just looks like a random, not even a hot goth, just that goth chick down the road.
The goth chick that was always wondering why nobody ever came to her poetry readings.
The one that you'll literally find like lighting candles in the graveyard, thinking she's actually trying to summon Satan when nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And the minute she gets out of fucking high school,
She's going to drop the whole goth thing because that did nothing for her.
Exactly. Exactly. You know exactly the type that I'm talking about because you knew them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Like, come on, dude. I've been the same motherfucker since I was like 19, since, high school and whatnot. I'm 34 years old. I still wear all black practically every day. All right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, you motherfuckers, I mean, and like the thing that gets me is those motherfuckers said I like that. I like that fucking Gorgonite emissary. She was going out to the club with her flaming hot Cheetos wig, but
Yeah, that was a really bad die.
Well, he was bringing snacks to the club.
right. But
Those hot curlies.
like the point I was gonna make, like the thing that always bothered me about like the way people, the fashion victims, they always think that they got to be like super depressed all the time, or no one's gonna think they're goth, and this, that, and the other. It's like, you dumb mother.
Don't even know what the hell goth is.
Right? It's like, dude, you're not fucking depressed all the time.
And it's always funny because every time anyone talks about the live action Teen Titans, no one ever talks about Robin because Robin's the only one that looks somewhat normal.
They do talk about it. They just talk
It's not the most stellar design, but it's like the least egregious thing about the whole thing.
Well, it's also about how he says "fuck Batman."
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they say. It always comes back to fuck Batman. It's like, okay, I can understand you're mad at Batman for one reason or another, but you are fucking playing up the edgelord a little too much there, guy. It's like, tone it down. And then the fact that they apparently Jason Todd is going to be in this, and it's like, wait, so instead of giving us, having him be Jason Todd, just have him be the whatever. Just fuck off. You guys are just at this point trying to see how much you can fucking piss us off. Like, I swear at this point, it's just, let's see how hard we can get these comic book geeks to read. I literally think that's literally the goal. They're like, let's see if we can get how triggered we can get these comic book geeks. They stop buying our comics because of our shitty fucking artists doing shit like, showing off their goddamn asshole on Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's fucking trigger them. Fucking cock monkeys. Hope you fucking burn in a goddamn pit. Fucking dickholes.
Jeez, tell us how you really feel.
Oh,
Funny, that was the next thing that Robbie was going to sell.
God. It's like I said, I can handle it if he was like, oh, you know what I mean? If he actually received some consequences where it's like, oh shit, I gotta apologize, and maybe if I'm lucky, I'm gonna still have my job. Okay, he got some consequences for being an asshole. Okay, I can live with that. He didn't get that. It was, I got a free pass because DC doesn't care, because Warner Brothers doesn't care, because all the bad press in the world won't change anything. And it's like, you know what? You all can just go fuck yourselves at this point. I don't even care.
Fair enough. Well, guys, I got like an hour before my dad to go to work, so I'm probably gonna head up here so I can have that hour to watch some videos.
Not a problem. We should have been wrapping it up anyway. So let me just before we hop off, let me put it to you like this, Numbing. I've been using that what's it called? The gun nodding. That's it. That's the name of it. Like, I fucking love that GIF. that describes the realm of comics at this point. But all right, Gorgonite, you have a good night. Fucking, if anyone else is watching, y'all have a good night. Yeah, I think it's that time. What do y'all think?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm going to assume for Ninja, it's that time too, considering he hasn't been.
Yeah.
A while.
He probably
pretty much.
You know, he probably crashed. Wouldn't blame him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but